So first up, you don't have to go far. As you can see in the background, there is a town. Quite a nice view. I'm up fairly high on a little hill, but didn't have to go far really to find some greenery. There's some trees, and I just love being near the sea as well. But in forestry, anywhere where there's greenery really, you can obtain some of the benefits of the frequency in nature, and that can obviously have a stimulating effect on your brain, and it can help keep you motivated and help keep you in a positive mindset in order to make some of these goals more possible in bettering your health and well-being, and also help for weight management goals. So in general, when you are moving, you are increasing your circulation, so that helps to supply your body with more nutrients as the circulation is boosted throughout your body. It helps stimulate your lymphatic system so that the fluid, which helps to remove any inflammation and any unwanted toxins from the body, can help remove that from the tissues and help flush it back out through the kidneys and out into our waste. Movement also helps with waste management, because we all know that when we've had times when we're a bit more sedentary, we have not been able to have the best bowel movements and we can suffer from constipation. So movement in your everyday life helps to stimulate bowel movements, but also bringing into that the consideration for hydration and also increasing your fibre intake, which we will cover as well. So when you are increasing your breathing as well, you're taking in more oxygen, you're taking in more fresh air, and in general this helps boost your body's ability to flush out anything that no longer serves it well. It helps in the sense for waste management and food absorption, because if you're able to regulate your bowels more and your bowels are more active, they're more actively able to absorb the nutrients from your food rather than being in a more sluggish and stagnant state or more inflamed state. So obviously you will have learned that everything is an integrated approach, so it's not just adding movement and exercise into your life in order to have a good balance of your weight. It's also looking at other ways in which you can support this so that everything works in harmony. So in general, you want to add more movement into your life in any way that you can. You might find that this differs from person to person. Some may be needing to increase their movement more because of the calorie intake, and you will have seen from previous slides that your body fat and your weight is dictated and determined by the amount of calories which you intake, but also your movement and your performance. So the level of activity will also dictate how much of those calories will be burned, and that's a basic way of looking at it. So if you are increasing your activity, and that's physical performance, mental performance, and obviously your basic metabolic rate comes into that as well. And if you're looking into losing weight, then obviously increasing your level of activity and lowering your calorific intake as well is important. So it's a combination of both changes to the diet and increase in your daily activity and performance, and also the quality of the food, which we're going to cover, because it's not just all about calories. There's a big difference in eating thousands of calories in the vegetable zone compared to thousands of calories in the sugar and fats and carb zone. So it's looking at the quality of your food as well as the quantity, and increasing your movement in whichever way that you can. If you're someone who is feeling limited due to pain, due to stiff muscles, joints, chronic conditions, you've got a limited amount of energy in one day, I know that feeling well. I've had to adapt over the years when I suffered from chronic fatigue syndrome, and certainly had to look at adrenal management and the amount in which I was pushing my body. And I found that at the time I wasn't having enough of the nutrient intake, and I was going over the amount of natural energy and going into a cortisol and adrenal mode. So that puts extra stress on the body as well. So your nutrients are really important to ensure that you stay well. And if you are in a zone where you have to limit the amount of daily activity, you might want to look into things like gradual exercise therapy, where you're building things up very gradually. And movement can be as simple as being at home and doing a guided video on Pilates from home, or something low impact such as yoga. Some of us might find that we need a bit more discipline in our lives, however, and it's good to actually go out with our home environment and be led by someone else, and this helps to get you into a routine as well. If you're finding that you're in a state of crisis, I guess, and you're spending more time in bed, you have suffered from illness, and we all know that that has been on the increase, especially throughout the pandemic. Our immune systems have been tested, and many of us have been pushed into newer limits when it comes to new bugs, viruses, and lowering of our immunity. So you might find that it's actually far too exerting to have any kind of exercise, and even going up and down stairs. If you have muscle weakness, you can find that that is really physically exerting on your system. So it's really looking at ways to build yourself up very slowly. You might have to accept the fact that you might need more time to rest and be in bed, but action plan for the future and know that everything is temporary, and concentrate on the diet and gaining nutrients alone. If you're someone who has to watch their weight in terms of weight loss, perhaps they're not able to gain enough nutrients that they'd like to, you might find that if you are increasing your movement and physical activity, that you don't want to lose weight. So it's important to add little extras into your daily life. And just to give you an example of one which I use, so some of the healthier options for this can be looking at some nuts, healthier snacks, and also looking at things like these drinks. Obviously, some of these can be a little bit contradictory, and you have to label read, which I will tell you more about when it comes to food labels. But this one in general, I am vegan, so this is plant-based, and it's got a mixture of plant proteins, coconut cream, sunflower seed oil, cocoa powder, pure vanilla extract, peppermint oil, which is anti-inflammatory, and pink Himalayan salt, which is a better version of salt for your body. There is raw cane sugar in here, so that's not as processed as white sugar, but you will find that weighing this up to your individual needs is important. I find that in my lifestyle, I'm limited to the amount which I can eat in one day due to esophageal conditions, which make it more difficult for eating, swallowing, processing food. So I have to have small and regular, and I find that in order to have the energy to add some more physical activity into my life and all of the other things that I give purpose to and I want to manage, I have to ensure that what I'm intaking and what I'm consuming is going to give me enough of the best nutrients to keep me functioning well, and also ensure that I don't lose weight. So some of these options you're looking at, you might want to look at having healthier fats that you can burn for energy and carbs, and limit your amount of sugars and obviously your processed foods. And obviously coming out and about and having some movement, even in your own home, is going to help towards activating your metabolism, especially if it's combined with other approaches. So you might want to look into having warm water in the morning. Some can have that with lemon. If they don't have tendencies for acid reflux and their acid content is quite stable, then they can add lemon to hot water or warm water, and the warmth of the water actually is better than cold water on an empty stomach in the morning, and it helps to activate your metabolism. So you might feel hungrier at first, and that can trick you into feeling that you won't be able to resist the urges for eating extra, but actually it's what you want to do, especially in the morning. You want to get your metabolism boosted so it's ready to digest your food, process it throughout the whole day. The lymphatic system plays a role in your skin as well, and many of us that are focused more on our external image and boosting our confidence and trying to be more radiant, more naturally beautiful, more naturally attractive, then this is definitely a consideration to have as well, because the more that you stimulate your lymphatic system, you increase your intake of really nutritious, healthier foods, anti-inflammatories, and also have more air, more exercise, boost your circulation, boost your lymphatic fluids, then you will be able to remove all of the things out of the body which would normally put some pressure on your skin systems. So you're looking at having more of a chance to have clearer skin, for hormones to be more balanced as well, because if your gut health is good, then your hormone health has better chances of being balanced as well. And when your hormones are balanced, then you have better secretions of the oils in your skin and better skin maintenance in general. And some of the skin conditions can be related to gut health, looking at psoriasis, dermatitis. You might want to look into some of the approaches of the medical medium, which has been very helpful for many with skin worries, looking at ways in which you have activated the metabolism, in which you have used juicing and used better ways to flush through your system and help heal your body and in turn heal your skin. And for those of you that are being more brutal towards yourself and you're trying to go without food and skipping meals and pushing yourself more with your physical exertion, it's definitely something that's quite common, quite tempting, but the nutritional sacrifice which you make will not be worthwhile, and it definitely will outweigh any of the benefits of weight loss. You're looking at things like you are more prone to vitamin deficiencies, you're more prone to running on cortisol and adrenal, which obviously takes some of the nutrients and best energy away from your bodily systems. You know, you would not drive a car without adding fuel to it. You will find that within a short space of time, there will be engine problems, there will be other problems within the bodywork, and a lot of us forget about that. So you have to fuel the body, and I think that many of us forget about the lack of nutrients, meaning that our bodily functions will start to suffer. Not only that, some of the aims which we have about feeling better and having a better body image will start to deteriorate, because when you look at a lack of nutrients and you look at eating disorders, for example, there are strains to the organs of the body. There also can be other symptoms such as hair loss, skin problems, joint problems because of the lack of fat insulation, and looking at fertility problems as well. And we will cover more of that in the eating disorder section, just to give an insight into all of the ways in which we are perhaps doing more harm to our body than good, all for the sake of feeling better about our body and our appearance. So yeah, there's always ways, and hopefully you can feel inspired, because sometimes when you get out and about as well, you'll find that not far from you there are fantastic views just waiting to be found.